Live above the Heineken River Deck here, Pier 17 in the seaport of New York City. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby, Jalen Rose, this evening in Dallas, Texas. The Mavs' playoff lives are on the line. They fell in an 0-3 hole to the Warriors. Is this the last we will see of Luka in this magical run in these playoffs?
Bring it on if you think you can hang. And if not, then let me do my thing. You remember that? Joseph Cartagena, classic bars. That's who Luka's gonna be today. The Don. Like he was called by Paul Pierce. You see how I did that? Like, this is what I do. This is what I do. And for those that catch what I'm putting down, then for the jewels, when they go over your head, they just go over your head. That's what we're gonna see from him tonight. I expect him to not let his team get swept. I expect Jason Kidd to summons a speech to Finney Smith, to Reggie Bullock. Did you see Reggie Bullock last game? I felt bad for my former great Detroit Piston. 0 for 10.
Great Nick, too. Former Nick as well.
0 for 10.
It was tough.
You know what I'm saying? We salute you,
down.
Reggie Bullock, and your community award.
Reggie.
You know what I'm saying? We got love for him. We got your back, dog. And Finney Smith, we need you to have a big game, big fella. You had your 7-game shooting game early in the series, last series. We need one of those games again. Jalen Brunson, I know what I'm going to get from him. Buckets.
He's been doing his thing.
Spencer Dinwiddie has found a way to get his game back going. Buckets. And you know I love the throwback OG Norm Nixon in the 80s goatee that he rocking. You know what I'm saying? But absolutely, I anticipate the Mavericks going to find a way to respond with pride and not get swept.
Well, Steph Curry, Wardell Stephen Curry has other thoughts. Now, if you put yourself in the mindset of these players, take us behind the curtain. Like, how desperate is it to get this win, to get the sweep, just to end the series and get rest and watch the Celtics and the Heat beat up on each other and take the survivor of that series?
Jacoby, I know you've been following my betting predictions. I've been crushing it. We got to have a huge conversation after this because here's why. Up 3-0, right? I can give you astute analysis of why the Warriors are watching the East, getting ready to go 7, and how they want to just get it over with, and how they got a championship pedigree, and how they order. I can give you both sides of that analysis, right? The bottom line is Luka ain't about to let his team lose is what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
He ain't about to let his team lose. You know why? Because they got him. That's why. So we're going to look tonight, and after the game, Steph gonna be sitting at the podium like, you know what, we up 3-1, we understand, we didn't come with the intensity. That's what I believe. I just don't believe that this series is gonna be a sweep. And shout out to Andrew Wiggins.
Yep.
Look out. It's the Funkadelic Funk for Chump. You see him jumping over Luka, and Luka with the flop in the air. Oh, Luka with the flop in the air.
That's
just nasty. Jeez. Well, adding Wiggins helped turn their fortunes around, and now this gentleman is a starter in the All-Star game, playing elite-level defense, even though Luka's still getting his buckets, giving them offense and aggression. What about Kevon Looney? Dropping dimes, grabbing boards. He had like 20 points early in the game. Yeah, he out there like Groundhog Day, just doing his thing. Little layup, little chippy, little reverse, grab a board, dribble handoff. And so, I love how the Warriors have been playing, and they are putting himself in pole position to not only get to the finals, but possibly be the favorite. Stay tuned.
Steph Curry and the Warriors cooking at this point. Just one win away from bouncing the Mavs and returning to the NBA Finals for the 6th time in 8 seasons. That is impressive. Teams to take a 3-0 series lead are 146-0 all-time. Golden State hopes to finish it off with a sweep tonight in Dallas. Big Perk back here with us. And Perk, I want to do this. What do the Warriors need to do to show they can win the 2022 title?
Well, continue to keep getting better on the defensive side of things, Molly. I mean, they haven't shot the ball extremely well from the 3. Klay Thompson has been really inconsistent for us shooting the ball. But the thing I noticed about the Warriors is that they've been hanging their hats on the defensive end, whether that's Otto Porter coming in and providing a spark off the bench and getting deflections and getting steals, whether it's Andrew Wiggins picking up Luka Doncic full court, turning them, making it hard on him, making life hell on him. Just think about this for a second. In game 2, the Warriors were down 19 points. They came out in the second half and they held the Dallas Mavericks to 13 points. 13 points. Again, we could talk about shooting, we could talk about offense, but it all comes down to defending and being that defensive-minded team to try to win the title. And we go back and we can look at the past and look at all those 3 titles that the Golden State Warriors won. They still were up there at the top of the charts for as defensive rankings in every category.
Yeah, I look at it sort of a different way. And I talked about this a little bit yesterday when I talked about the 2 potential matchups that the Warriors will face in the finals, and that is the Heat and the Celtics. And these are 2 teams that have a bunch of switchable parts and a bunch of size. And if you look at this Mavericks series, the Warriors have scored. They're scoring 120 points per possession, or per 100 possessions, which is basically better than the best offense in the league. Where they struggled offensively was against the Memphis Grizzlies, who is a hard-nosed defensive team that for the most part did a decent job switching in that series. Against the Celtics or against the Heat, both those teams have all the way up to the 5-man guys that can switch. Those defenses are based upon switching. So this is not something that they have to learn. If you go back to who gave those Kevin Durant teams the most trouble in the playoffs, it was those Houston Rockets teams who built their defense specifically to play and hopefully beat the Warriors in the playoffs. And that's why I think scoring the basketball in these finals against these 2 defenses, that's going to be their biggest challenge.
I agree with both of you. I agree with Kendrick Perkins is talking about hang your hat on your defense because that's what's gotten you here. And throughout the years when they went to 5 straight NBA finals and they won 3 championships, JJ, a lot of people didn't give enough praise to their defense. As explosive as they were offensively, they were hellacious defensively, and we got to give Steve Kerr a boatload of credit because of what they've been able to do as a defensive unit. But I also get your point about needing to score more offense. Here's the thing for me where I'll crystallize it a little bit more. I'm a Klay Thompson dude. Klay Thompson is one of the greatest shooters the game has ever seen. I think arguably top 3 all time. Klay Thompson in his entire career has never shot in less than 40% from 3-point range. Just like Steph in the season. I'm not talking about the 5 games Steph played during the lockout season. I'm talking about full season. The brothers never shot less than 40% from 3-point range until this year. Klay Thompson came back this year, obviously was struggling to get his groove back, got his groove back a little bit, has had some explosive games, particularly the closeout game is the latest example when they beat the Memphis Grizzlies in 6 games and he dropped 30. Klay Thompson shot 36% from 3-point range that series, which is not shabby. This series against the Mavericks, he's shooting 27% from 3-point range. That's not going to cut it when you talk about going up against Boston or Miami. The one thing that we need to say about both Boston and Miami is that if you're the Golden State Warriors, you need to bring your A game to beat them. You ain't going to beat them with your B game because they're going to get physical, they're going to get up in you, and they're going to do whatever they can to try and neutralize you because you got to remember, when we look at Jason Tatum, he's 6'9". When we look at Jaylen Brown, he's 6'6", 6'7". You look at Al Horford, he's 6'10". You look at Robert Williams, about 6'10". Marcus Smart is a pit bull. We get all of that. Golden State Warriors is a finesse team. Looney, great game the other night, no doubt about it. Andrew Wiggins got some length on them. Klay Thompson, 6'7", Steph Curry, 6'3", Jordan Poole, like 6'3", 6'4", etc. Memphis showed you can get a little physical with them and thwart them a little bit. And when I look at it from that perspective, I'm saying the Golden State Warriors that I expect to win the championship is the Golden State Warriors that's going to be making perimeter shots. Because here's the thing that everybody needs to remember. The Dallas Mavericks ain't Miami or Boston. They have nothing on their front court defensively. They have no rim protection. They have no shot blockers. That's not a problem with Miami and Boston, especially Boston, because both Horford and Williams can do that for you. And so, to me, if you're the Golden State Warriors, in order to beat them, you got to scorch them from the outside and obviously pushing the ball up the court and exploiting them on fast breaks in the open court. That's going to be your 2 best ingredients in order for you to be able to beat them. Dallas is not the appropriate litmus test, and that comes with being able to hit shots.
Yeah, but you know what else the Golden State Warriors haven't faced? They haven't faced a team that has a high IQ. And when you look at the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics, they both have a high IQ. and you need a high IQ in order to beat the Golden State Warriors. I heard JJ point, he made a point for us with the communication on the switches and things to that nature when they played the Memphis Grizzlies, and you're right, but sometimes it was getting them burnt. It was times where they were supposed to switch a high pick and roll with Steph Curry. And Steph Curry was getting wide open looks because they wasn't communicating switches. That's IQ. And so when I look at that Boston Celtics team across the board, high IQ, the Miami Heat, high IQ. And then on top of that, you have two exceptional coaches, especially in Eric Spoelstra and Ime Udoka, if you was to have to face one of them, who could put a hell of a game plan